Hello, hello, hello. Hope you're doing well out there in USANA land. Welcome to my Wednesday webinar. And we are so grateful that you have an opportunity to join us as you can, because many of you are actually working now, and I remember those days. I'm just going to wait a little bit while some people might be able to have an opportunity to jump on. I want to let you know that this is my fourth Facebook Live, so I am not a seasoned expert like many. And I've actually stayed away from it for a while because I feel like flying likes and hearts and angry faces and sad faces and laughter faces are a little bit distracting. But this is all about personal growth. So today we are here together, and if you'll do me a favor, I'm going to do my best to be a ninja communicator, doing something that is really outside of my comfort zone, but this is what business is all about, learning to grow and be out of our comfort zone. So while we're waiting for other people to join, do me a great big favor. Let me know where you are watching from. And also, let me know what was the last USANA product that you used. So I'll let you know that the last one that I used happened to be our wonderful toothpaste. So it was fantastic. And so welcome aboard. And I'll be sharing with you some of the things that I wish I had known starting out. So sometimes hindsight is 20/20. And these are some of the lessons that I've learned. I look back and I go, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that we made those decisions and they did make a difference. And then I'll tell you some of the funny stories along the way. So each one of us, we come to USANA in a different way. Some of us come to it because we have a friend who reaches out to us and they care so much for us and they know that the products are life-changing. And there's others of us who, we are hit at, hey, take a look at this business and it's life-changing, and we have people who care about us from that perspective. So everybody looks at it and sees it from a different perspective altogether. And anyhow, the way that I came about into USANA is really at the time, even though I was pursuing a doctorate in entrepreneurship, I was sick. I did not feel well. I oftentimes slept 10 to 12 hours a day. So really it was, a big deal for me to be able to have life-changing products. And then after a while, when you start to come out of that fog and out of that darkness, you're like, oh my gosh, I have my hands on something powerful. This is something that can really help me. So anyhow, what we were talked to about, my husband and I were talked to about USANA 18 months prior to the time that we actually joined. Oh, that's not true, 13 months. So it took us 13 months to actually take the leap of faith. And it truly was a leap of faith for us. So here's the thing. A lot of times we are taking a real big step where we just jump out and it's like jumping off of the plane and we're like, whoa, we can fly. And we have a parachute. And that's really what it was for me anyways, because I had been involved in some other companies that I was enrolled in but did not know I had been enrolled in. And so it was kind of a weird thing for me. I hadn't seen anything happen because, those products hadn't changed my life, but these had. And so here's the thing. When you get really, really clear on what it is you want and what it is you don't want, you're going to help yourself and all those people in your business, whether they are customers or whether they are fellow associates. So lesson one I want to share with you is, if you enrolled in USANA, you didn't actually do so for business. You actually enrolled, it's like a secret in disguise, you enrolled in a lifetime personal development program that pays. And yes, actually it does. It was a beautiful thing because when I first started out, I thought, well, I came in kind of kicking and screaming. When I went to hear about the business, what happened is I went to protect my husband from joining network marketing because, I was going to be the one with the PhD giving courses on how to be successful. Dun-dun-dun. And it's funny, right? How we can apply ourselves in theory, but if we cannot put it into practice, then why would we teach? So then I thought, well, that's what I need to do. I need to learn how to become really successful so that if I ever decide to go back and teach at the university, I can. And I want you to know that I don't know if I would ever go back to the university, because the best university is right here with all the teachers that you get to come see every week, 4 classes a week. So I love that there's something for everyone and that they can watch it at a later time. So folks, yes, you're going to be growing by leaps and bounds. You will look back and go, oh my gosh, the way that I eat today is nothing compared to the way that I used to eat when I first joined. I used to eat what I would call the normal college students' food, like pizza, anything that was fast that I could grab that was already prepackaged, processed, made, and so my body was really not doing well. So the way that I actually have time to be at home, prepare my own food, and it's awesome and it's colorful and it makes me feel like $1 million, that's changed drastically. The way that I look at life now is when most people are driving to work and they're like complaining about the traffic or their boss, I don't have that to complain about, and I'm so grateful. Very, very pleased about that. So when you look back, the lesson sometimes doesn't come till much further down the road, and that lesson really started to sink in about year 4, year 5, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm getting paid to go through personal growth. I'm getting paid to take care of myself. I'm getting paid to actually teach others how to be free. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. And so the second lesson I want to talk to you about is action is the best teacher. For so long, I was the student that was constantly absorbing, and I wanted to put things out in action. So what I was learning at the university, I couldn't necessarily put out into action and see results. And what USANA enabled me to do is not overthink things, but to actually go out and take the action. And I have to say that every morning when I would get up, I would say, now, who can I help today? Who wants a life that wants to be different? And then go out and serve them. And that was the one question I would ask every day, because it was simple. It wasn't something that would be like, how complicated can I make this? Because I think so many times we overcomplicate things. So the questions that are very simple that have served me very well, and the lessons that I'm going back to now that I'm getting back into really building again is, who can I help who wants a life that's different, whether that's in their health or their finances or their lifestyle, or how can I serve them in a way where they want to change something. And so I can now, because I know how to take care of myself, I can walk with someone else and helping them learn how to take care of themselves, whether that's around eating correctly or whether that's around building a business. So lesson 3 is use what you've got. At the beginning, we didn't have a whole lot. We started out simple. At the beginning, we were actually given particular business tools, and you're going to laugh for those of you who are brand new. Like, we had cassette tapes. What's cassette tapes? We had VHS tapes. And I started back in 2000, so it was kind of fun to see how things have really changed. But use what you have. And then I want to say something that I've really learned throughout time in my USANA business is don't compare your gifts or your abilities to anybody else. Comparisonitis is a horrible disease, and not even our supplements can help overcome that. What you have to do is push your skills to the top, what you're able to do at the top, and just be you. So what would happen sometimes is my husband, he is an absolutely phenomenal teacher. I went to school to become a professor, right? But this man, he can simplify things. He's amazing. And I would be like, wow. And then I wasn't like incredibly funny like Michael Callejas, or I didn't have the gusto of Jordan Kemper. But the thing is, I have a voice that only certain people really track with, only certain people resonate with. And then I realized I have to go out there and be me. And that was really a game changer, because I would have people come to me and say, I really like talking to you because you're very authentic, or I like talking to you because you're genuine. And I wasn't trying to be anyone else but me. And I think that each one of you has something powerful, whether it's about teaching around the products, whether it's around teaching around lifestyle, whether it's about how to teach business building, but do what you do well and don't try to play anybody else. So looking back, lesson 4 would be the miraculous 1-year mark. Now this is going to crack you up because I actually had friends in the beginning. They're like, come back to me a year later and just tell me that you're still involved, right? That you're still doing that. And when I would go back to them after a year, they're like, what? You're still doing that? Oh my gosh, how are you doing? And I will have to tell you, we weren't in the $1 Million Club yet, but we were well on our way. And there was something that shifted in the mindset of others that because I was persevering, that they should pay attention. So when I would go back after that miraculous 1-year mark, and I would talk to them about how the products had changed my health, how the business was beginning to bear fruit when it came to our first $400 check. And I'll talk to you about that a little bit later. But that built belief like off the wall, off the charts like it ever had before. So when I could go back and confidently say, yeah, I hung out around for 1 year. And in the meantime, I was getting my health on, I was learning, I was getting the skills that it would take as an entrepreneur in this industry to rock it. And so I look back and I say, wow, well done that you stuck it out. And a lot of times people, they get a little bit weary and well-doing in their first year because they don't feel confident. Well, guess what? You don't get confidence overnight. You get confidence as you begin to get skills, as you begin to collect your own story and other stories around you. And it's about sticking with it and moving forward. So lesson 5, I want to talk to you about opposition makes for great stories. And then I want to talk to you about Mamma Mia, my own mother. My own mother was like, honey, you really know, you've got to go get a real job. This is not a real job. Honey, you have got to go get a real job. And I was crushed because this was my own mother. My own mother was my biggest cheerleader, my biggest fan. And I finally, it was like after we crossed the 6-figure earning mark that I said, Mom, please don't say anything else ever again. I want to invite you on a trip, an Alaskan cruise that Daniel and I won. We want to pay for you and Daddy to go, and all expenses paid, we'll cover that. And please just don't ever say again that I need to go get a real job because I actually have work. I don't want a real job. I have work that I love, and just come along with me, and I want you to meet these fine people that I'm partnering with. And I tell you what, after that Alaskan cruise, it was all over. Now she's my biggest cheerleader, and she's like, honey, have you talked to so-and-so about these products? Have you talked to so-and-so? So it's a completely different thing. So stay in the game. Some of the greatest humps are the people who have the greatest fear of you failing, or the greatest fear of maybe you looking like a fool. They're going to be your biggest cheerleaders. So hang in there. Okay, so lesson 6. Okay, wow. You know, the very first time that people were like, hey, take a look at doing a vision board, I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And my husband's like, I don't know, it's a little corny. And then we were asked to do a movie script. And then we were asked to write affirmations. And I was like, wow, should I really do that? So looking back, 17 years, oh yeah, definitely. Because when you can visualize yourself in those pictures, which we did make those vision boards, we did write those movie scripts, we did actually write down those affirmations, and we said them, they make a huge difference. They not only build confidence in yourself, but also in the vision that you're going after. Before it ever happens, your mind believes that it's happening. And you're thinking, okay, this is doable. This is the best way I can tell you to get your game on. You change your mindset before it's even changed. Because when we see something and we have faith that that's where we're running to, then that's where we find ourselves years later. So I can tell you I'm standing in the home that I wrote about. I was very, very specific. I wanted a home that was 4 bedrooms, minimum or more, because I would always say this or more, 3.5 bedrooms or more, or 3.5 bathrooms or more. They're 3.5. I wanted a swimming pool, have a pool, yay! I wanted lots of trees, I love trees, and I wanted a minimum of 20 acres, and it's actually 28. And I wanted to be able to pay it off in 10 years or less, and we paid it off in 7. So friends, it was because I was very, very specific, and that was just my heart. Now, that dream has been fulfilled, and there's other dreams now, and I'm at the place where I'm so loving it, and I've enjoyed it for 10 years, but I could even go out and do other things. So I just want to let you know that, yes, it works. It may seem hokey, but it truly works, and it puts your faith into action. Okay, so lesson 7 comes from Dr. Seuss in his book, Oh, the Places You Will Go. And friends, here's my plug for international convention or live events that other people might be throwing in USANA land. I want you to know that my very first live event, I went there and I was sitting, and I was somebody who was working really hard in school, and I was like super nerd, and I wanted to do well. And I get up and I see a guy who's like, I dropped out of high school, and he was a gold director, and I'm like, whoa, that's awesome. Like, if he can do it, I can do it. And that one little story, that one little snippet changed everything for me, just going to that one event. Then there was another event that I went to, and it was the international convention, and I thought, oh my gosh, look at these people from all around the world. One day, this is what I would tell myself, one day I'll be able to pick up and go and just meet them wherever. And it's true. Now I know, I look back, and I know if I wanted to, I could call up somebody and say, hey, I'm gonna be out in Washington tomorrow, and I'd be like, Renee, Mark, can I come over and hang out? And they would be like, sure. Or if they come to Texas, I know that would happen. And that's the beauty of this business, because you create long-term friends because of it, whether they're in your business or not. So there's the places you will go with Sonaviv. That had been on my the holy grail list, go there. And it rocked my world, because I realized that what I thought health was and what health really was totally different. And so it opened my eyes. The first time I went back and I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can ever, be in a clean environment again. And then the next time I kept thinking, oh, I need to go back because I need to revisit. And then the third time I went back with my father, and I learned more, and I was a companion. And then my husband and I were going to go back for 2 weeks into this month, or next month actually, because I want to stay in that work, and I want to stay healthy as long as possible. Friends, I was supposed to be on drugs the rest of my life. I was given just a very bad medical description of how my life would be. And the fact that I can go out and ride horses, the fact that I get up out of bed and I'm jumping on my trampoline, or, the fact that I'm making dinner for my husband and I have all this energy, the fact that I can go and live in different countries, that was not on the charts 17 years ago. So what I want to tell you is these are the things I wish I had known when I was starting out, that it really, really was possible. So I'm telling you, yes, friends, it is possible. I want to tell you also lesson 8 is all about giving. The thing, and I heard Tammy Dom talk about it, giving in USANA truly matters. And friends, you've become a part of a culture where giving is paramount. And I see this through the True Health Foundation, or True Health Foundation supporting Children's Hunger Fund. I've been able to go to Thailand firsthand and be able to pass out food packs and see how it impacts how we're giving food into bellies, and how women are coming out of the sex trade because of the giving that happens through USANA. And it breaks my heart, and it also it makes me want to stay in the work, because what we do makes a difference. And guys, what you do makes a difference. And it's not just giving about money. There's some of the people that are in USANA. Sorry, I get all teary-eyed, because when I think about the power of that work, how it changes their lives and how it changed my life, to go back and say, keep giving, it matters. To actually see where your money goes. Wow. And by the way, buy a watch from Michael Callejas. He's doing a lot of fundraising right now for relief efforts after the volcano erupted in Guatemala. So there's my plug for you, Michael. Okay, all those funds will go to help feed people in need. All right, so here you have it. Give of your gifts. You know, each one of you has a different gift. Some of you are just phenomenal at getting people excited to take action. Some of you are really good at listening. Some of you are great at asking questions. What I want to talk about is giving of your gifts. You know, I love, because I'm not an MD, people think I am, but I'm not, is Dr. Peter Rugg, Dr. Ladd McNamara, Dr. Karen Wolf. It's really nice to see how they share their gifts, and we can take use of those gifts and we can build the confidence levels of others. So whenever we give our gifts, and I was just giving an example of people sharing their gifts around health, right? But whenever we give our gifts, it goes into the future and then it comes back. So we always come back and get 100-fold. So lesson 9 is change. Change is gonna happen. It's happened. You heard me talk a little bit about the beginning, how folks actually, in the beginning I was passing out tapes and then VHS, and then we were passing out CDs. And I love really how everything's gone digital, because it takes up a less landfill long term, and it also really is quick to deliver. So you can deliver something within 5 minutes or less, just because of how technology has changed. Now, I'm still not 100% up to the technology, but I realize that's an area of my growth. I need to change. The products, they will continue to change, and they will constantly, it's like the Japanese concept of Kaizen. You saw us constantly working with over 47 PhDs on staff to make sure that our products are the most optimal. Okay, lesson 10 for me has been, you will, looking back, you will become rich in ways you never, ever imagined. And that's in relationships. So I kind of drop hints along the way, because it's one of the things that, had I known in my very first year starting out that I would be so wealthy because of the friendships. I mean, to be able to have like a stopover in Las Vegas and visit with my girlfriend Barb and her daughter, it is like so special. Or to be able to say, hey, I'm stopping over in Mexico City, and to be able to just say, I'm gonna drop in and we're gonna get together at such and such restaurant, and my friend Beatrice shows up. So this is the beauty of USANA when you stick around, but you don't see that in the very beginning. So had I known in the beginning that these were all the bonuses, I would have been like, really, are you kidding me? That I get all that too? So yeah, you get all that too. Lesson 11 is confidence. Listen to this, confidence sells more than competence. So what do you do when you don't feel confident in the very beginning? Well, you work on getting your skills, but you can borrow from the skills of others. So that means like you can go to Dr. Ladd's VIP group and use some of his skill set to build build your confidence, or you can be sending people online to get the information that they need in order to grow and go. So looking back, I really just had confidence that these products changed my life, and that was enough for me. But sometimes people are like, show me the money. And what I can tell you is, when I could see people who had been at this business longer, and they were like, if you want me to, I'll show you my paycheck. I thought, just the transparency is enough for me. I don't necessarily need to see it. I just need to know that it works. And that's how I was. So everybody's a little different, but that confidence comes over time. But in the meantime, just work on feeling more competent. And what are those areas, that you need to work on? Okay, so lesson 12. Oh gosh, this is really one that's paramount, is trust the process. Trust the process, because what happens in the beginning is you're the one that seems to be doing all the work, and you're doing it all on your own. But there is something called a miracle of momentum, and that happens when you are able to multiply your personal efforts through your team. So you're multiplying your time, and people are consuming the products, and their lives are getting changed, all because of the concept of USANA and its products and business. So here's the thing. In the beginning, you're the one that's going to ground school. You don't know how to fly a plane. You don't even know really like what the cockpit looks like. But as my husband's great analogy has been all these years is you go to ground school, then you jump in the seat and you maybe ride along with some of us here inside this group, and you're just going around being a co-pilot. You're checking out, wow, that's beautiful down there. Or pay attention to the cockpit, how to fly, how to take off, how to land, and then boom, one day you are flying the plane and you have a whole team back there, like when you land, woo, when you take off, woo, and it happens. And you're thinking, how did I ever multiply my efforts and my time this much? And it is absolutely beautiful when that happens. I will say, when my husband and I hit Achiever, it was our very, very first $400 check, I went through the roof. I was so over the top, and some people are like, over $400? You better believe it. It taught me that I could believe that this was doable, that we can make it happen. And then when we hit gold status, it was like the 2-year mark, but what that taught me is all the time, the effort, pouring out into people, pouring into helping them grow their teams as well. What that did for me is it was the most humbling experience that people bought into the vision of Dr. Wentz. They bought into the vision of USANA. They bought into Daniel and I's vision, and then they created their own vision in how to run with USANA. So it was life-changing, not just for me, but for them. And so that was a very humbling experience. Okay, lesson 13. Well, when what you sow in time and effort will come back to you 100-fold if you apply yourself. And what do I mean by that? When time matters the most, because you have sown back then, you can reap a harvest when you really need to be around, when it really matters. And what do I mean by that? Well, first off, I just want to say this. My dad passed away last July 1st, and he had been living on 8 years of bonus time. And I think some of that bonus was given to him, obviously by God, but also with USANA's help. And I have to say that because we had worked hard in the beginning, and there was that income coming in, that if I wanted to at any time fly home from Mexico, be back with my mom and dad, and to be there, to be present during a time that was very challenging, very sad, I didn't have to worry about money. My own health was doing great, and I could be with. And so friends, that to me, like looking back, had I known that that's what I was investing in the very beginning, I would start saying, wow, to everybody, don't waste time. Build it now, because one day you will be so, so very grateful that you did. And then lesson 15, and it's easy and it's just coming full circle, is the leap of faith is totally worth it. Totally, totally worth it. And each one of us has something that we have to bring in to the world. And I just want to tell you that you have what it takes. You don't need to be listening to some of the voices in your head that tell you you don't have what it takes. You may take it a little slower than others, and then you may be the one who takes it as quick as possible. But you're on your journey. You don't need to compare it to anybody else's. So looking back, that has those are the lessons that have been game changers for me. And there's so many more, but those are the ones that were coming to the surface that I wanted to share. So anyhow, don't know if I should open this up for questions or not, but if you do have questions, that would be great. I'd be happy to answer them. And if not, you guys have a great day. I'm going to stay on for about 30 seconds, and hopefully someone's typing quickly if there's a question. And if not, there you go. That was something to chew on. And I've enjoyed being with you today. I got through the Facebook Live. Woo! All right. Well, so far... Oh, yay. You're so welcome, Kay. Glad that you can make it. Hi, Philip. Hi, Lorraine. Hi, Agneta. You're so welcome. All right, well, I think that completes us. Hey, Michael. Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you. Thanks, Deb. You're the best. Appreciate you. Bye, folks. Bye, USANA Land.